I'm a massive fan of anime, so seeing Power Rangers being turned into an anime would probably be a really good thing. No, there isn't a Power Ranger type anime, which I'll probably mention later on in this video, which I think would probably be a good fit as well. But I absolutely love anime, manga, everything like that. I just think it's a beautiful form of art. The stories are absolutely perfect, and there is so much stuff that you can tell that you can probably not do at all in live action. So when hearing about Power Rangers going animated, I generally kind of thought, what would be a good studio? What would be a good style of animation and stuff like that? And to me, I think there is so much that you could do. One of the biggest styles I generally thought, which isn't an anime style, but is the Justice League from like the old 90s days. You know, Batman, I love that sort of animation style. And I generally think that if you did it in the same thing with Power Rangers, it would work really, really well. And it would kind of like bring over quite perfectly. Even if you updated the entire whole animation standards that we have today. That sort of style, I think, would work perfectly when coming to Power Rangers. And I know we're never going to see it, but one can dream. But yeah, I generally really would love to see that happen at some point. Another thought was the studio that did He-Man, the new, like the Kevin Smith one, which I'm not a big fan of Kevin Smith, but that sort of studio would do really well when it came to animation. Again, not anime, but if you were to kind of have that sort of thing, I think it's Powerhouse or something like that. But seeing that sort of kind of animation style, I think would work absolutely perfectly with Power Rangers, because the action scenes in the He-Man cartoon were actually kind of really cool. They were really well done, and yeah, I generally kind of liked them. There is one comment to me that always sticks out, the reason why I make these videos and talking about them. And that comment basically said, Power Rangers could never work as an animated because it would be too hard to animate or even like kind of think of. And it grates me because even when I replied to them, I don't think they replied back. But seeing that sort of thing to me was annoying because it just felt like they've never watched anime. They just think, oh, it's just going to be cartoon and you can't draw fighting scenes. Yet when you see Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Z, when you see anything like that sort of fighting animation where they go quick and it's like, holy shit, that's really, really fast, then it just feels like they've never really paid attention to anime. And maybe they just don't like anime. I'm not going to kind of judge them. But that comment always sticks with me, and I think I'll always remember it, and it really fucking irritates me so much. One of the animes that I have recently finished was Sword Art Online. But we're talking more of like the last kind of 2 seasons, not when they finished Gun Gale Online and Elfen Lied and stuff like that. Elfen Lied, that's something different. But when basically they go into the underworld and you have a lot more kind of fighting scenes, you have a lot more kind of animation style. And I generally kind of thought this sort of style may kind of work really, really well and actually produce something that would be really, really cool. And I generally kind of like that one. So for me personally, that I think would work very well as an animation style. Now, I mentioned before about another anime very similar to Power Rangers, which was Love After World Domination, which is something that I need to kind of watch. I watched the first half of it. It looked pretty decent. I generally kind of really liked it. So I looked into the studio name, and it's Project 9 or Project Number 9, which I generally think would make a really good kind of animation studio because they've already done something like this. So maybe they're the sort of people to actually go towards it rather than say someone else. When watching Sword Art Online, I generally dug the animation style, the fighting, the kind of fight scenes, but generally the scenes that kind of worked well, and the emotion that went into some of the characters, some of the backgrounds, everything worked really, really well. And with the use of kind of 3D technology as well, I think it would work it would work perfectly. So I generally think that Sword Art Online would make, or the guys behind Sword Art Online would work kind of really, really well. I found the animation clean. I found it fresh. I found it something that when you take your time with it, it could look really, really nice. Now, considering like Sword Art Online is one of the bigger animes out there that has a ton of stuff behind it, books, manga, anime, merchandise over merchandise. Looking at A1 Pictures, who's the guys who make it, I think that they would be a really good fit for it, and they could easily work into it and kind of give it that sort of style, which again I kind of like. Now again, many people may say, no, I would hate it if they did it, but to me, I kind of like that idea. If you know any sort of kind of studios that you think would work well, let me know down below in the comments. I don't know how much money it would cost to produce something like this. 24 episodes may be quite a lot depending what it is, but I feel like you would bring a lot of people in to kind of watch it if you did it off, say, whichever Power Rangers series, or if you did it with a random season or whatever you wanted to do. Original or adaptation, who knows? I think it'd be cool to have. But now, you also have a load of other animes. I've only ever seen a few that are tokusatsu kind of inspired. Range-wise, not like mechs or anything like that. There's one called, like, say, Flamenco something, which I generally kind of thought it was alright. Very Kamen Rider kind of made-wise. And also the Kamen Rider anime that has just recently happened. I think that if anyone was going to go with that, I think maybe the guys who did the Kamen Rider anime, that would kind of work a bit more. I think, like, you know, they know exactly what to do. But that's an anime I need to actually kind of watch to see if it's actually any good. But I feel like if you were to go with the anime wise, maybe these studios would be the better ones to do. Maybe they're fun. Maybe we would see something kind of really awesome from it. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about it. I would love to see a Power Rangers version of anime. I think it would be absolutely fantastic. And that's one thing that I would always watch because I like that sort of thing and I love anime. Now I'm going to ask you, if you were to have an anime of Power Rangers, which studio would you think would work the best? Let me know down below in those comments. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. See ya.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。